And then you go out to
and what we can do to improve the company and crap like that. And I am not the slightest clue what other, I'm in charge of the security stuff for fraud anyway, so they were like a phishing campaign program and this and that and other stuff. So I didn't know exactly what it
Art,
Hi there.
can you hear us?
was expecting.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Howdy,
I
howdy.
can hear you through my laptop. I don't know. We got a new laptop,
Oh, okay, very good. Excellent.
so we are trying to get it all set up. There is a lot of red. What is up with that red?
The camera I'm looking at is fuzzy.
Why the 120 hertz?
Wow. The
The
camera,
room, the room shot is really out of focus. Your face is pretty good, which is a separate window.
yeah,
And I'm not seeing my window at all. Let's see. Oh, I guess if I turn on my camera, I probably will.
Wait a minute.
Okay, well,
On gallery view, the meeting presenter camera is pretty fuzzy.
yeah, it is.
that's all right. Nobody wanted to see me anyway.
Actually, that's in focus when you're about 6 or 8 inches off the camera there, Leroy.
Yeah, I need to install the software for that, so I could mess with the focus. I didn't do it.
What's the new laptop
Oh, it
or
is.
new old laptop or whatever?
It is a Dell XPS L1702. It is the same size as one of my desktop machines. And it's just as heavy.
CD drive on
It's the Blu-ray,
it? Nice.
and it plays beautiful beautiful video. It's got two, I've only got one hard drive in it, but it came with 2 hard drives. It came with 8 gigs of RAM, and it's a quad core, but it's got hyper-threading, so it shows up as 8 cores. It's a heck of a system for something that is from 2011.
So where did this machine come from?
This
That's
came from Vicente.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's pretty decent.
Well, I mean, it's still be working.
Oh.
Well,
Dell, they're solid.
and Dell, 2020, they released a firmware for it, so that they're still semi-supporting it. Of course, I cannot get the firmware to take because I can't get the battery to charge. But that's an entirely different, that's an entirely different issue.
Said it wasn't a bad machine, because I'm not used to XPS stuff lasting very long.
Really, I've never really had a problem with the,
But
this stuff is,
it's
This
probably the
stuff is-
desktops more than the laptops.
Could be.
this was almost $2,000 back in the day.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a nice computer. I just need the bugs last a lot longer.
It,
Seemed like, but that was probably a hundred on the XPS.
this was, Vicente said he bought it to play flight simulators on, and which
Playing.
does every
Yeah,
bit of it.
It's got a Blu-ray player in it. It's not the standard XPS stuff.
It's got a subwoofer in it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've got an old Sony Vaio that
Hmm.
like that was mom's boss's. One of his laptops for that, but it's like 1080p with both speakers and crap, and it's
I'm not,
astonishing that
I'm not saying that.
Sony makes crappy computers. I'd never buy one, but it is nice.
Well, I'm not saying that this doesn't have its issues, like it won't charge the battery.
Yeah, oh, it's.
Vicente said it's a brand new battery.
Oh,
But
yeah,
it isn't a Dell battery.
No,
yeah, it can't talk to it.
yeah,
It's generic.
it's a generic. Which I think is part of the problem, because the warning that comes up on the screen says, I can't charge this battery. Yes, you can, but whatever.
Well, see, I got that problem with the new chargers I bought for those Optiplex 7080s.
Mhm.
It says that it can't read it, and supposedly those are Dell power supplies. So,
Well, supposedly, I mean, if you pull the battery out of this and you look, it says Dell on it. But I'm thinking
Oh,
I'm thinking though, because when I looked at what Dell was actually offering and what this battery is, they're two different batteries.
well, they have the extended batteries also. I had a D400 with an extended battery, and it stuck out the back of the thing. It was
Yeah,
such an ugly.
well, that HP had the extended battery on it,
Oh, okay.
but
so the theory of one big computer,
do what?
is the battery or the power supply?
Well, he said he replaced both. So,
I was curious what your message is when it boots it tells you
oh, it says, what
Because
does
if
it
it-
say?
can't read the supply, it won't try to charge because it's afraid to overload the battery.
Oh, yeah. I can bring you another Dell power supply, but that does look to be an authentic Dell power supply.
Yeah. It's just some can't talk to some models for whatever reason.
Well, from what I saw online anyway, the battery itself doesn't look like anything that Dell has sold. It looks.
Now, I've seen that,
Have you?
maybe not that exact one, but definitely the one that lifts the back of the computer up.
Oh, no, the one that was meant for this lifts the back of the computer up.
Really?
Yeah. But this one has,
You know?
yeah, it has like an extra set of batteries in it.
It's not long life model. I've got,
And I can't find it. I can't find Dell selling it, but the thing that raises the battery.
Mhm.
I think it's needed for this model because this thing, that's where the fan is. It's pulling all this air and it's blowing super hot air right now. So I don't think you want this thing sitting on the table.
well, you do. Propped up enough to get air.
But it's a heck of a machine. I'm like, holy cow. So I installed OBS, the virtual camera thing
Mhm.
didn't show up in OBS. You gotta install video for Linux.
Yeah,
Loopback. Loop, and nowhere in the documentation does it say that. And why wouldn't it install it when you,
it isn't needed. It's an option.
That's what I left out of my story on that computer. I went to like 5 different websites. And they all 5 had different directions on how to repair that UEFI thing with different syntaxes and
Mhm.
commands.
different ways to do it.
Well, I think it was because they probably copy and pasted it from something, and whatever they did stripped like the colons and the slashes and stuff out on a couple of the pages.
Yeah,
and stuff, so like none of them, oh my gosh.
that's one of the reasons I hate documentation in Windows, because
Yeah.
it's bad.
Even Microsoft's site was like trash on the whole topic too.
Yep,
A long time ago, I was doing something and I had found some, some documentation and it was almost right, but it was just off enough to be
A nuisance,
a pain.
not, yeah, you gotta know the nuances,
So
of
that's-
what's wrong to fix the.
That's what I did. I
Right.
copied what was there that worked, and then I went in and said, okay, this needs to be changed because in my specific case, this didn't work, but this did.
yeah,
And I ended up taking like 3 different tutorials and combining them all because
None of them, yeah.
none of them actually worked the way they
standard.
were, but they all worked if you put them together.
You took out the dome from this guy and the dome from that guy.
And you go, hey, why am I removing all these files? That doesn't make sense.
my Windows adventures. A couple of weeks ago, my youngest kid, who has 1.5 terabytes of Twitch videos on his computer, said that he wanted to reinstall. Why? I don't know. I think I'd try 11. Okay. So I get him a couple of spare drives and set them up as software RAID mounted to a partition called Scratch, because I hate drive letters. They just piss me off. And I give him a Ventoy thumb drive with Windows 11 on it, latest version and everything. And we made a backup of his stuff minus his Twitch videos, because he let those copy. It took like 2.5 days. And he installs Windows 11 and he goes to mount the drives, and they're not a drive anymore. It's 2 individual drives. He installed Windows Home instead of Windows Pro. Damn. So we wiped everything again, reinstalled. It took 3 days for those drives to resync and present themselves as a drive again. In Linux, that would have been 5 minutes. And it took probably 6 tries to get Windows to install. And he's got a pretty decent machine. It was weird.
I am definitely not a fan of Windows, but Windows did actually fix this problem, so. Lesser of 2 evils.
Yeah,
I set, literally, I set for hours just going, why isn't this working? It should work. And I tried boot repair, I tried modifying stuff with gparted, I tried the gparted repair thingy about it is
Set
there.
the boot file in the BIOS.
Well, I tried that. There was actually a BIOS partition or something,
Yeah, well, as I say, maybe it's pointing to the wrong crap like the Windows kept coming up.
yeah.
it was a last ditch effort, and I said, the hell with it, I'll just put Windows back on this machine. Windows wants to work, I'll put Windows on this.
Windows probably have a problem with grub.
Well, I think because the drive was completely blank, it did not know that it was a legacy device. Because Linux, every time I tried to install it, or every time I tried to fix the boot, it said, you've installed UFEI, but you need to set the BIOS for for legacy, and there's no option for it in the BIOS. Well, not if it starts,
Not from that old. Might not.
Well, if it doesn't have UFI,
Linux shouldn't detect
put
that
it in
it's there.
legacy mode.
it
If it's
should,
that old, it
it-
should have both modes.
it should not have detected, it should have just did it in legacy mode in the first place, because
If it's not, if it didn't have a UAFI in it, it wouldn't have ever even installed as a legacy NBR.
the BIOS in this thing is
Weird.
about as
Well, that's
vanilla as you could
what was
possibly.
funny about switching to the 390 was because it has a toggle between legacy modes, but it doesn't have a secure boot checked. So you can't make Windows force boot UEFI. It was really weird because I think that's why the boot sector is not allowed to detect
See,
the UEFI boot. I had actually pointed to the file.
Well, if I'm not right, the latest version of Linux, if you've got secure boot, it will add itself into the BIOS, right?
Yeah.
Well, this doesn't have secure boot either, so
Well,
But that might be one of the things that you need to update the BIOS for. Because they're using a key that was relatively,
generic.
well,
No,
it's new.
oh,
And
yeah.
they have changed the way the keys are encrypted.
Probably what the 2000 update is
well,
for the 2020.
Yeah,
the 2020. It might be, but at this point, it works, and
Well, that's all.
but it's-
I don't want to take a hammer to it.
Does it work and run smooth? That's all that really matters.
Well, apparently it's doing pretty good.
um,
I haven't noticed any lag yet.
do you have a way to back up your home partition? Because it's really pretty easy to reinstall and just copy your home partition back.
Well, what I want to do, the other hard drive is a 500 gig.
Mhm.
This is a 1 TB SSD. The other one is a spinning platter.
Mhm.
What I want to do is take and move my home partition over
Onto it,
onto the.
I wouldn't, I'd just make backups onto it, honestly. In fact, I can get you the 2 TB spinning drive. You can make lots of backups onto that.
Well, that was my other thought, was just put the 500 in and back up what's already here to there, and then, yeah, I have that.
So I have scripted Mint installs that run in like 6 minutes. And then they rsync my home directory in.
Yeah. Well, I want to do it, but now that it's booted, now that it's working, I want to back up this drive to something,
Mhm.
and then I want to delete the Windows partition and see what happens.
Yeah,
And
Wouldn't matter. Delete the Windows partition. Just don't delete the boot.
yeah, let's see, me being me, when I get a new laptop, I just delete every damn thing, and I don't think about it. And I should leave partitions that
Yeah,
I know better.
your stupid Windows recovery or Windows, whatever, I don't know what your partition looks like. It's probably got,
Well, right now, it's,
probably got your.
there's 3 partitions on it.
yeah, if it's GPT, you can have lots. So that's not an issue.
And so you're gonna have 3 just because of Windows.
But-
And if you've got Linux installed, there should be a 4th.
Yeah, well,
probably-
I didn't,
I say there's probably a couple hidden ones though.
I did not. I usually set up a root partition and a home partition. And I didn't do it this time. I just wanted to get it to boot.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
But I'm just saying, because Windows is gonna create you like a boot sector, a recovery sector, and then.
Yeah, I don't think the recovery sector's in. I think just the boot and the Windows partition. are
I'd
in.
be really shocked if it's not.
It's easy enough to find out.
They're probably hidden one later though. So, but this part, so
Maybe there are 4 partitions. There's my little teeny tiny Windows partition. I actually booted into it the other day, just to. Something was acting weird. I didn't install drivers and all that stuff. I didn't care. And I didn't give it a Windows key, because I don't care.
yeah. I understand that, you don't need to get Windows 10 key anyway. It just puts a little magnet in the bottom right corner, and that's about all it does.
Just don't care.
Keep you from installing 2203 or something, but what you do. You run, it makes you run like one version behind.
With the small partition that I've got set up for it. I don't even care about installing updates, because that partition is pretty full now. Because, Windows, it's all bloat. So, what's going on, Art?
I was wondering if Jim had reappeared.
Well, so me and Vicente went over to Jim's house. And Jim is alive. He says he wants to take a break, so we're probably not gonna see him for a while.
So he's physically okay then,
He
which
he seems
How it is.
he seems a little off to me. But yeah, physically he's okay.
okay.
He just seemed like he was tired. We told him everybody was worried about him, and but
Okay.
he said he wants to take a break, which past 6 months or so, he's kind of said the same thing, that he was getting tired. So I just was kind of expecting an email or something that said, "I'm out, I'm done," which never happened. But
Okay.
um,
Well, I'm glad to hear that he's okay. All
yeah,
right. And if he wants to take a break, he's certainly earned it. So,
I think that's just fine. I know, maybe we'll see him during summer hours, when it stays light a little bit longer. I think he was having some problems seeing in the dark. So. But that's all right. He's definitely allowed to take a break.
yeah, I would think so.
I'm just glad, he's alive.
Okay.
I'm glad that our worst fears had not come about. Is this
External battery charger.
an external battery?
$70, which seems expensive. But I think that is for that. And it comes with a spare one of those.
This shows this is the only picture I've seen that shows the two rows of 9 batteries.
Is that a L402?
It's 702.
702? Maybe that's what I've typed in. I don't know.
See, I was confused. Part of Dell's website says it's a 17L702, and part of their website just refers to it as an L702. And if
The
you,
17 refers to the screen.
that's what I thought, but if you look at the battery, if you look at batteries for it,
Mhm.
they list them as 17L702 and L702, and they're 2 different batteries. Or at least they appear to be 2 different batteries.
Well, I'm sure they've used the 702 somewhere along the line. I don't know. They will ran through all those years ago.
I don't see anything on here that says 17, but when I typed the service number in, it said it was 17L702, so. I'm honestly thinking maybe Vicente bought the wrong battery to start with, but he bought a 702 and it just doesn't know what to do with it. Even though physically it's the same size.
On this site, putting in 17L702 comes back with nada,
No,
but L702
Comes-
shows for an XPS and a couple of 14, 15, or 16 inch, or 14, 15, 17, whatever.
see, so that it's confusing. Why would they do that? Why would they use 2 different model numbers for the same thing? Because I would assume that this is a 17 as well because of screen size. Oh, it's Vicente,
How you?
and Vicente's blurry, but he's here.
Yeah. How you doing?
Are we going to play robots?
Yeah, have the rock. Yeah, official.
The official track?
What is that, a figure 8?
It's
Twice?
I'm doing it with my phone to have another camera.
okay.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Great. How is your project with Mary
Oh, we did. Yeah.
already?
We got married
Yeah.
last year. We're doing the
The
celebration this year. You wanna come?
if she goes, he's the one that I take pictures.
Okay.
I'm,
So when is the next?
We're freezing up here.
uh-oh, the internet is unstable. What happened to the
The
internet?
next Linux meeting in Madeira.
Oh, February. What's my calendar?
What's going on, Leroy?
24th.
It says the internet's
In
unstable.
Madeira.
Can you hear me?
Close to Finland.
I don't think he can hear me.
It looks like it just froze.
You guys are froze.
No, you are.
We're functioning fine.
Okay, it said the internet was unstable. Art,
Okay,
so,
because everything froze all of a sudden.
yeah, we saw you froze. We were moving around just fine. You were the one frozen.
Okay.
See, it's freezing again. Wonder. Uh,
Well, you're frozen again.
yeah,
Art, this is our official track.
we're frozen. We've got an unstable. I don't know what's happening. Anybody got a USB Wi-Fi card? Okay. Are we back? Maybe.
We have a new computer.
Are we back?
I think
I think you're back, yeah.
I don't know what's going on with the internet. This may be the issue that I was reading about this old Wi-Fi card.
Wi-Fi cards are easy to upgrade. I'm sorry, I forgot we had talked about that. I would have brought a pocket phone.
Yeah,
Or why you do something,
Hmm?
you do something. Oh, it is.
it is an N.
That's not bad. My phone says we have Wi-Fi 6 here. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, okay.
It I don't know. I read a few things about this particular card. It wants to always run slower than what N should be. And like on an open network and on certain other networks, it doesn't work at all. Apparently.
You know, keep people from doing drive by word out, just don't you?
Integration.
Okay.
The ID control,
Okay.
more precise.
Nice
Boy, that's really sweet.
and smooth. In fact, even though you've got internal mode.
I'm definitely impressed.
Those lines are a little bit funny too, right?
But this is a different algorithm.
Boy, that thing is really tracking.
I don't know how to stop it.
I don't know how to stop.
You're running after.
Stop. What do you do in white space? No, we try to find it.
Boy, it finds the track again.
Polulu, they make some good products.
Yeah. It's like power of. I don't understand.
Very cool.
So we can continue the meeting.
I got new toys.
Yeah. And 5 star. Oh my God.
M5 stack. We got H drive. It's a motor driver, single channel, single motor. And I got 2 of those for the Atom.
Just the driver.
But you take, don't lose
There's
that.
those.
And it's got the connector
Yeah.
for the Atom. You put between 9 and 24 volt in. And that'll power the microcontroller and the motors. And you've got, two
Yeah.
PWMs.
You need 2 of those for a robot.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
but I was actually thinking, because it's got 2 outputs. So if you only want your robot to go forward, you might be able to drive 2 motors off of it.
Yeah.
Hook one side to ground, both of the motors.
Remember that there were RC car with just one driver.
Yeah,
But when you go forward, go straight. When you go backward, you turn. So you can more or less control the.
there's like a differential gear setup that I've seen that can do that. That-
MIDI.
That is a MIDI.
MIDI
So you can
interface.
relive having a Nokia 5300.
It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I spent quite a bit of time doing some MIDI stuff.
I have not quite figured this one out. So I'm not a huge sound. It's got like 64 different instruments built into it and 38 sound effects.
Mhm.
I can't quite figure, I wanted the sound effects. Can't quite figure out how to get. I figured out a couple of them, but I can't figure out how to get all the sound effects come out. The let's see how long the battery lasts on this. The sketch that I've got running right now, it's UART. You control it over UART. And the sketch I've got running on it right now just makes random music.
Okay,
And
that's cool.
some snares and
It'll do all of the things, you just have to wait.
It will.
Can you hear Art?
Yeah, I can hear.
Yes. No, it's not the connection, it's annoying.
Eventually it gets to a point and it decides the song's over and then it'll generate a whole entire new instrument panel and a whole entire new tune.
Was it AI generated music?
Sort of.
It's more of a random generated music
Well,
tone.
if it decides when there was a number of type. That's all I'm doing. If it's got a timer, it's gonna take 2 minutes to do this.
It doesn't, it's not a timer. It's just kind of a random number. When it hits that
Yeah.
number, it goes,
Generates a tempo. And then plays probably 400 notes and new tempo, new 400 notes.
yeah, except sometimes it's not 400 notes, sometimes it's
Oh,
50 notes, sometimes it's
okay.
when I first turned it on, it just went on and on and on. I was like, wow, is it ever going to finish? But it makes a melody track, it makes a tempo track, it makes not a tempo track, a percussion track. And something else, it makes like 4 tracks and then it populates those 4 tracks and then it plays them until it hits some number and says, I'm done. The precision, the drum track is the only track that's constant. Everything else, it will choose different instruments and different. That's a neat little toy that
How much?
$15. 15. Not a whole lot of examples. I found the example that I found for it was actually written for a different MIDI device, and I just kind of made it work.
You must announce your shopping, because I can use your shipping. And avoid paying the shipping.
Yeah.
And actually some.
I'm not planning on ordering anything for a while. Then we got the camera. Yeah, somebody absconded with one of the cameras.
The camera.
That is the S3 camera.
Cute.
The camera had to catch light.
It wandered off.
It wandered off. So. I can't really demonstrate how the camera works. Cause it's set up for its own website right now.
So they look up for time or something and plug in the.
Get out. For whatever reason, they decided to make the programmer separate on this. This is the programmer. And it,
That's an adapter, right?
yeah. But if you plug,
What's the camera resolution?
it's 2 meg camera.
Okay.
You know, not the greatest thing in the world, but not the worst.
Is it just camera or does it do facial recognition, that sort of stuff?
Well, if you install the software.
it's an S3 or
It's an S3.
so you have an ESP32 and that's it. But the S3 includes the serial USB driver, so you only need a cable and a physical adapter connected to your computer.
Yeah, they
It's just an ESP32.
they eliminated the putting that on board
Yeah.
to make it smaller, I guess.
Exactly.
It's got an SD card on it, it's got a microphone on it, and it's got,
The SD is in the back, right?
yep. It's underneath the
Connected.
connector. I think it said that it was 16 gig SD card. I don't know, I'll have to mess with it. 16 gig.
So they're desperately trying to figure out how to film audits.
So not.
So we do mystery shop audits.
Oh, I'm sorry. I heard hobbits.
No,
That's what I heard too.
So
We're trying to film the hobbits.
they're trying to figure out a way to do it with technology and make the camera small enough to be portable and work with phones, and the stuff we use now is designed for the same point, which is 6 years out of date or something, and they're having connection states hard tied to that hardware. So if the shopper has an iPhone, it doesn't work at all. So when it's made overseas, so they're supplied.
Well, this is made overseas too.
Well, I think any camera you get that's small is going to be.
You can walk into Micro Center and for $60 on the shelf, they've got spy pens
Yeah.
that record to SD, gives you standard MPEG-4 films.
So the problem,
This big around.
the problem you would have if you wanted to use something, you still need to have a battery to connect to it or something, because there's no power. There's no battery.
That's the other flip side of the part of the problem is too, is like right now the camera. I guess Bluetooth to the phone and records on the phone, so that can just submit the video from the phone. So they're trying to make it as streamlined as possible because people aren't computer literate enough to.
Yeah.
It's an S3, so it's got Bluetooth on it. You could do that, but I don't know how you would keep it relatively small and still have a battery attached to it. Well, the battery would have to go into the suppose you might be able to.
I'm just curious, this was, I don't know how many minutes it could record, I don't know what, I'm not involved with that side of it all, but they had a big power meeting about it last week. They're looking to develop their own platform now instead of using somebody else's as hard tied.
How fast is Bluetooth? I thought it was fairly slow.
Force pretty fast.
This, they've got a cloud service that apparently, as it sits right now, will upload pictures. Just set it up and it'll take pictures and upload to the cloud. I'm like, interesting. I don't know if I need that.
Microphone, everything else, and I just think it'd be an interesting solution. I think they're going bonkers.
Anyway, I can't get the back or the thing off, but you might be able to make a pack that would plug in there because there's power, on one of those pins. So you might be able to make a little battery pack that would plug in.
I just wanna, I'm not saying universal thing that everybody has the same and everything's, so everything's all easy and smooth. But I just curious, because like I know we must have came over the 30.
Make a flip that we flip the yellow code.
Essentially, and then the body thing is all we need.
Yeah.
They said it's got a mic and everything, so they can hear anything going on. I think it's a lot cheaper and easier solution than trying to build something from scratch and have somebody make it for us.
The,
Is that one that they tried to get you to think that it was made by Polaroid, that's the size of a sugar cube?
Yeah.
That's got a battery in it. I don't know if it's Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, but it records locally.
Yeah.
You could just mail those out, have them do a mystery shop and mail it back.
I don't know who ended up with them. I gave some of those away.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know who ended up taking them, but I never got them to work quite right.
And they were pretty low res,
Yeah.
640 by 480.
These seem like they're all right. They need light. That's their biggest problem. There's no IR on it or anything. So you need, as long as you're doing your mystery shopping during the day, you should be fine.
I don't have no idea what clients even utilize it, I just know it's a large chunk of everything,
Hello, Ray.
9 million years.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any restaurants on Sundays?
They pay like $70 for a fisher's shop.
Yeah. The ones we were doing, they just paid for your meal and like $6.
Well,
It was worth it.
that's better than,
That was our date nights for quite a while.
yeah, I suppose if I could get free food.
Yeah.
It's $6.
Well, that's what, with the fish, like I said, the fishes, no, I don't know if fishes are out of it, but whoever has fishes, like the one there in Eastgate, like $80-90 to do a video shop of fishes.
Hmm.
So I thought it was insane, I was
Yeah.
shocked fishes to pay for that. I never understood what point of the video edit product, kind of,
That's kind of proved you were there.
well, exactly, I mean, there's a lot of legal ramifications, especially depending on what state you're in. And get picked on. Then it didn't care.
Hey, there's no obstacle avoidance there.
Just like a Tesla.
And it's just gonna push it out of the way.
Run over it almost.
I'm glad I had a bumper on the front.
That didn't even phase it. It raised the wheel up and it just kept going.
Oh, yeah.
Raised the wheel and just kept on going.
Drove right over it.
Now all I need is a roll of black electrical tape and I can make my own track.
Oh,
I think that's just gonna make it angry.
Mmm.
Wow.
That was
Traction.
impressive.
That's angry, didn't even care. Oh,
Slowed it down a little.
yeah. Like, I know where I'm going, get out of my way. I was wondering if the black would mess with it, but I guess not.
Now, those IR sensors, you weren't here last week. They're tucked up under on the bottom. They're,
What he's saying is, I need a black marker, you know.
yeah, that would mess with it. No,
Now there's grades follow the track as well.
It goes by the crossovers really well.
Will that run over the Sente custom code?
What?
Is that running the Cente custom code?
No, I just changed some parameters, but it's the,
Out of the box?
from the manufacturer. They have a simple line follower, and this is the line follower with PID. I just changed the speed and maximum speed. Because I have different models, I change the models.
Neat little thing.
Yeah. Now, you put a blade on it so to cut grass.
The way it was pushing stuff out of the way, that could almost put a little slope on it or something, and turn it into a sumo.
Yeah.
They're all, but
It shares a lot of design with the sumo robot.
yeah. So I think, don't the sumo robots usually have lower torque engine, motors,
They are slower,
so they can push more?
and they have different gearboxes. Make things stronger.
Yeah.
Mini metal thing,
Yeah,
well, model.
they,
Oh, so I think it was straight out magnetic motor. It was probably what I was using. And there's nothing
There-
to strip out.
they're fast and they're fast, but they've got a lot of torque so that if, once they hit something, they can just push it out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know that when Frank was here and he was doing those sumo. So they would hone in and they look for IR beacons off of the other ones and they would just go. Zip right up and just smash the other players. These are line followers and like they've got a way to solve mazes. They've got IR sensors up on top so that they can see objects and
There are some applications that they use to read the code, black spots side of the line, and he knows if in a T junction, if it needs to go to the right or to the left, and those kind of things.
yeah. They do competitions, they're competition robots and usually they want them to go faster. White Slinty wants it to go slower.
All about the roses.
How fast can you solve the maze? You know, some of those.
They have,
Where did the robot go? It's already at the end.
they have the standard version, the turtle based version, and the high speed version. So I bought the standard and changed to different motors, slower than the turtle version, so it's slower than the slower mode.
And it's still pretty fast.
Put the trim back in.
What
Put it really brown.
do you got, Mr. Steve?
I brought in my switch tester. 100 different switches,
Yeah,
all sorts of different feels. Some of them are clicky. Some of them are just
They are color code, right?
sort of. So broadly speaking, there's red switches, brown switches, and blue switches. but
I like the brown. They don't make a noise, right?
right, browns are quiet, and they've got a tactile bump in the middle of them, and that's what I like. My kid likes reds. There's blues that are very clicky.
I like the blues.
Just if
And the
anybody is
navy.
ever considering getting into building themselves a keyboard and wants to figure out what sort of switches you want, let me know. I'll let you use this thing for a while.
Okay. I was thinking in the brown one. Because the noise, because
Mhm.
I am using one keyboard. I don't know the manufacturer, but I have to buy the O-rings to silenciate them, and they still are noisy.
Well, I mean, the switch itself may be noisy, so the O-rings don't really help. They just give you something to
No,
bump
they,
into.
they change a little, you know.
Yeah.
But I think the brown solves the problem.
Is it relatively easy to get your switches out?
The knobs, but not the switches.
Um,
It's a metal frame.
they may be. What if, I mean, depending on what it is.
It's the same tool I have.
So if you've got this tool, then they probably are hot swap switches. There's two little pins above and below.
Yeah, let me try.
And they just slide right out.
Yeah.
So don't try too hard, because if they're soldered in
Yeah.
instead of socketed,
That's all right, okay.
yeah, that's a bad thing. I don't know which way this was in there. I hadn't pulled any of these out yet.
No, but I'm thinking to buy a new keyboard with backlight, you know, to go really nice.
So I will give you this. I have a keyboard that has nice backlighting, and the switches I've currently got in it are green. So no matter what color the backlighting is, the color on top is green. Yep. And that works against you. But yeah, pretty straightforward to take out.
We could really mess with him. We could move all the keycaps to something
yeah.
else.
Well, luckily I've got
The
it written
cheat sheet.
down where they're at. But all you can see from the top is that it's a Gateron or a Kale or whatever. And
Cheaper is
you
the
have to
battery.
actually pull it out to see what it is. No, they're all about the same cost. If you buy a tube of 110 switches, which should be enough for any keyboard, it's somewhere between 30 and 50 bucks. Hello.
The noisy. It's too.
You want to borrow it?
I like the clickies.
Yeah.
There's one,
Me too, but my wife had by
Yep.
night, yeah. Clicky. So
there's one down there that's, it's called a Navy, where is it? Yeah,
That one, that's slightly quieter clicky.
that one felt like it might be good for typing on.
I can't believe there's that many different kinds of keyboard switches, to be honest.
Oh, this is just 3 manufacturers.
Oh, yeah.
There's 30 companies making switches.
but
It's crazy.
They become cheaper in the last year, right? Because the cherries
Yeah.
used to be very expensive. Like a couple of bucks or something. Now for 30 cents to buy a mechanical switch.
Yeah.
I am gaming and everybody wanted the same one of the League of Legends people. Probably.
Let's see. The light green I kind of like. There's a few of the browns that I like. If I'm going for clicky. Shoot, I lost it. I don't know. That's not bad.
So all reds here,
Mhm.
different manufacturer.
Keychron, Gateron, Cherry. And Kale. The Speed Bronze, that's the one that I like. It's got a pretty strong spring.
There's
They're a little clicky, but not bad.
that one that I really liked was a speed key, speed something pro, and
Mhm.
it, the spring had a little bit of resistance to it. Just a little bite. So you know that you hit it, and it still clicked.
Something like that. We use for programming.
That's what I said.
Like just the top left ones, like if it's up your whole thing and or for build your whole infrastructure and put the cursor where you're ready to type your.
But I mean, you know, I sit there and type quite a bit, and
Basic Kale
it
brand.
seemed like it would be a really good switch for typing.
I'm just
You like that?
saying like the. You wouldn't
Or
have
that.
to type all the commands in, or all the syntax and all that, it just,
That's a
here's your function.
Gateron
Put it, you know,
app,
with the
V2
cursor
golden
already
brown.
ready to type your variable
All
in
different kinds of brown.
Mhm.
instead of,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I always hated about programming, it's just so.
It's the same thing over and over
Let's
again.
say, why should I have to type semicolon at the end of every freaking line? Can't the interpreter put that in there for me?
No,
No, because if
No,
you
it
don't have
doesn't
it in
know
there,
where
it
it's at.
means that it continues on the next line.
Well, I know, I understand that, I get that, but I'm just saying, the thing should know, or at least have enough intelligence, I don't need to tell it when the command's done.
see, the thing that gets me is when you compile it and the compiler says, this is the problem.
Yeah,
You
type this here and you'll be okay.
You typed in variable blah, 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 but that's not defined. Did you mean this variable? Just fix it. Just fix the problem.
You
Yes,
forgot the
obviously I,
Semicolon expected on line 142, it's like, well, then put it in.
obviously I typed the variable name in wrong. I am sorry, compiler, just fix it. Yeah.
I just hate all the syntax.
Now, now, some of those, you're missing a colon or you're missing a parent or something.
It's amusing.
Some of those are like
They really want.
3 or 4 lines above,
No,
you're missing
it
the
doesn't
colon
have a
and you're going,
word.
This is for the line.
missing a colon here, what?
It doesn't do anything. It's just a
But it's
hole.
nested.
But it
from
makes it
public
look
ago.
like,
Yeah, it's a.
Well, that's,
I
And I've
can
sit
look
there
at
and
it.
Demos with
Yeah.
the real electrical.
I've been looking for it. I haven't been able to find that
There's
word yet.
colon, what are you talking about? Why are you telling me you won't compile?
And I'm not sure
And then
how
you
it's
find
held
it
in
They have
there.
different boards with different.
And then the other ones that drive me nuts are, you know, the brackets. You're missing one of the brackets. Yeah, those are a pain in the butt to figure out what bracket is missing.
well, that's what I'm saying, if they automatically
Yeah,
put the
but they're
parent in there every time you hit like a
And
hotkey
there are
for
nowhere near
the
as
function,
many.
and you didn't have to mess with it, you just put your variable.
One of the,
They are compatible with the local.
Yeah, especially now, yeah, it's
No.
about to
No,
fill all that crap
the,
out for you.
the low profile
new
ones aren't
the
designed to
new
be hot swap.
IDEs, the
Um,
later,
Because the
ID,
plate and the board
you
would
put a
be much closer
bracket,
together.
it'll
Here it's
make the other bracket.
3 millimeters apart,
So
yes, from
type
the
in
steel
between
plate
2 brackets,
on top to.
It's a little bit better. You know,
Excuse me.
Well, a little better, but that's what, bonkers about Python 2 and Python 3, is that they put all the syntax back. So, it's like, had issues.
well, my problem with Python is still
Python,
why does it need to be tabbed? And if you put a tab, you can't use spaces. And if you put spaces, you can't use tabs. It doesn't like change. And to my eye, a tab and a space look the same.
And so what can you use it into? With the notepad, or did you do it in a Word pad?
But yeah,
Did Microsoft switch out all the characters?
the colon thing doesn't bother me so much. But parents and brackets, those kind of drive me nuts. And, you know, if the compiler is going to recommend something, then it should just say, do you want me to fix this? And you go, yes. Because obviously I missed a key or something, right? But see, that platform IO that I've been trying to use, you start typing the variable name and it'll bring a list of variables up that you're already using, so.
Let's see, Microsoft's gotten that, you know, fill out full functions and crap.
Yeah,
I've never used them.
Nice and annoying in the same
So
way.
that's a perfect keyboard for me.
that's exactly how I feel about it. It's
That's
nice,
got hot
but
swap keys.
there's times where I'm just sitting there typing and I'm going,
these
Not the
three.
one.
I don't
It's not the one.
I don't want
Not
the
one.
list, I don't want the list, I don't want the list.
Well, it's not the right one, it's not the right one, not the right one. 'cause
I'm
it's-
making a new variable, I'm making a new
That's what I-
variable.
Recently.
Well, I mean, it'll give you complete commands and crap. It's like, it's not the one, you know.
Yeah, I agree that
Where
it's
is the Windows
handy
logo?
and it's annoying. It's,
It doesn't have, it comes with extra keys. That's what
of course,
Like,
Platform IO is a Microsoft
you can swap out the keys.
adjacent. Microsoft kind of has their hands on
But it's
it.
got a
Yeah,
switch up here
Well,
to
Microsoft
switch
took
between the
delved in and
Mac
installed all the
layout
programs,
or the Windows layout.
Trying to make it easy, and that's why Linux is struggling on some
What?
stuff.
Hmm.
Microsoft stole all the programmers, that's why Linux is struggling somewhat, because it's like. People don't want to learn how to low-level program again, because they, you know, you got like .NET does 90% of the crap for you, and it's crap, but it's easier to program for. You know, there's no devs, you know, there's not like a DirectX that handles all the video card crap for you,
The
like it does in Windows.
interesting,
Cross compiling with the Xbox and all that.
Platform IO is on Visual Code Studio or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
And they make a version of that for Linux, but the interesting thing is that's semi-open source and somebody has made a version of it that has stripped all the Microsoft stuff out.
Yeah.
And you can still install Platform IO on it, but then you're putting Microsoft back into it. But it runs so much smoother than Visual Code Studio.
Oh, I don't doubt it. There's a lot of overhead.
And that's what I've been using.
2/3 of Microsoft's problem in my book is the overhead has gotten stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, when you
That's
can take a 1980s Galaga and throw it on an Xbox and it's, you know, 3 gigs instead of 40K.
yeah,
it's
that's a
running.
little. We built Galaga to run on a one megahertz machine that's got 2K of RAM.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
And how much does it need for Microsoft Xbox? 3 gigs and 128 gigs of RAM.
because instead of developing it and new stuff, it's like, here's all the bloat proto code, and then we just do the cross compile compatibility adaptation without, you know, and then do all the DirectX crap on top.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's
There's Xgalaga for Linux, which is very, very close to Galaga.
Yeah.
Galaga was the only game I played. Galaga is under 200K.
Yeah.
There was the code. All they had to do was compile it. It's really easy to do that.
Right. Go grab the Xbox version of it and ask me why it's a gig, but 1.6 gig or whatever. Cause it's emulating your old x86 or your old,
That's what they're
on
doing.
top of this, on top of this, on top of that.
That's what they're doing there. It's an emulator. It's not a,
Yeah.
it's not a direct port.
Nobody bothered to port and rebuild it in current language.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why these video games are becoming like 100 gigs. It's because they're basically you're installing a
Just-
whole Unity platform underneath the game dev platform on top of the game sitting on top of the
Yeah.
game development platform now. 'Cause
It's the
programs
same,
are-
it's the same with, the Switch. Some of those, retro games, well, probably 99% of those retro games are sitting on top of an emulator. They're probably sitting on top of some other dev kit.
And they run fine on a Pi 3.
Yeah, but if they compiled them natively, they could get away with it much, much smaller. They don't need the emulator to do. I mean, we were able to do some of those games. Yeah,
Well, but then you'd have to write the code for modern computer to handle the memory management and all that kind of junk.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, to just throw it in an emulator.
Is Galaga still available? I haven't looked for a while.
I don't know.
Can't imagine it's not.
Well, it was very specifically written for X.
Yeah.
And now they're switching things to Wayland. And, I don't know.
Sure, somebody still got it.
I did.
Galaga being as popular as it is, I can't imagine it's not.
Yeah, God, that is not how
Yeah.
you spell that. Here, we'll just shorten.
Yay, an Galaga plus plus.
Ooh. Inspired by Excalibur.
Huh.
Not have to go home and play with a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might get it in 4K video now.
I don't actually mind some of the emulators. You know, if they're done well. Where one emulator, many games, but when they take one emulator. And then they do the same thing, put one game and then they do one emulator on one game and one emulator on one game. That's an emulator done poorly.
Yeah, yeah. But they guarantee you that game works. Ish.
Well, I mean, no,
That's one I never.
the NES emulator on the Switch, all the games that are listed for it, They all
the
work.
container concept. Got all the resources.
That's what I never understood. Sony couldn't even make Sony's own stuff run on Sony's stuff, and Sony had access to the original code. So it's like if Sony built their own emulator for the PlayStation 3 for the PlayStation, they're like, why didn't half their games work on it? I think why didn't they just dump the firmware of their PlayStation and
wasn't that the same kind of problem with the Xbox 360? A lot of Xbox games would work, but they would have to go and download patches or something to make them work.
Yeah.
On the 360.
Did they drop opcodes on later processors or something?
probably.
That doesn't make sense.
I never understood it either. It's like, the only thing I could think is the they didn't have declocking speed for like the newer hardware being faster, like the old, like if you took an old PC game and you stuck it on a new one, it's, you know,
Ray says he's got a customer named 8-Bit Revolution. And what do they do, Ray? Oh, Ray's gonna type. Ray forgot how to talk.
8-bit games, yeah. Do they?
Okay. Yes, the customer makes 8-bit
do they-
versions of popular games. So they rebuild old games and making them into their own stuff. It's actually pretty cool. I think it's very cool.
They're not doing emulation, they're doing actual
No,
8-bit games.
Yeah, they're still creating
Hey,
cards.
they're recoding games, so maybe games that are no longer I don't know, I'm guessing maybe they're no longer licensed or whatever to anybody. So they're making something similar, but it's the whole deal is it's 8-bit.
Well, there's 2 or 3 companies that are still making games for Nintendo. Like little independent studios.
Oh, are they doing ET? You're gonna play ET games for Nintendo?
The
That was the worst.
they're way worse than ET.
I thought ET was the bad one on the 2600.
I didn't think GT was too bad compared to some of the other games out there. Iron Sword could burn in hell for all I've got.
Did you pay for that one?
What, Iron Sword or?
Yeah.
I don't know, I never got past the first minute and a half, because you had to have the specific sprite jump to make, to clear the jump, and I think we got past it 3 times. And then as soon as you die, because every time you die, you gotta start over and do the jump over again, so even if you get past it, you can get another 5-6 inches into the board, you die. You gotta make that stupid jump again. Oh man, me and my buddy, I'm surprised we never mashed that cartridge with a hammer. Oh. Supposedly there's some other games that were worse out there. I thought ET was kind of fun.
One I remember came in a box of Captain Crunch, Crunchling Adventure. We had like 4 or 5 discs of that, and they were slightly different. They'd make a version for a month, and then a slightly different version for a month. Then they stopped making them, and I can't find those CDs anymore. It irritates me.
Well, probably worth some money now.
Yeah.
Some of the games are disappearing.
Internet Archive.
Well, they deleted those. It was on after that, like even Google stopped catching its own stuff.
Yeah.
I still find some games on the archive.
Yeah. Well, there's somebody, they were talking about that, one of the time capsule, one of the big backup things.
Way back.
Yeah, the way back it went,
Thing.
they're targeting him because they're being able to show the narrative change on some things that doesn't fit people's politics. Getting in trouble. Like we're all supposed to be dead now. What's her face said we'd be dead.
I would.
Some days. Some days I.
She had to pull all her stuff off her website the other day. Shut it down. But she still got 6,000 of them personal Learjet. Not bad for a high school dropout that does talk some climate control. Right?
You use the graphic board for something, for play something? To play something, the graphic board of the laptop?
Oh. Like a video or something?
I don't know, a game or something, supposedly it has a very good graphic.
I played a Blu-ray. I didn't bring it, but it's quite amazing with
That was a nice picture.
quite a nice picture.
You've been watching Lord of the Rings, sir?
Actually, I watched Green Hornet. So it was the first Blu-ray that I grabbed off the shelf. I do have Lord of the Rings. With nice stereo, loud sound, woofer.
Everything.
I was thinking Independence Day though because of the woofer.
Ooh, yeah, that's a. Or Maverick.
Yeah, yeah,
Maverick would be very good.
but
Little coin story, but it is pretty good movie. But I like Jetfire too. How can you
I-
go wrong with it?
I'm very, very happy with this laptop.
FRT.
It took me forever to get Linux installed on it, but I'm very, very happy with it.
I found a driver disk, but maybe it's for Windows, right?
Yeah, I'm not planning on, I still have the Windows partition on here, but I'm not planning on keeping it, so. This is going to be an all Linux machine. This is a very,
Very heavy.
and we tried several different things to try to get it to charge the battery and nothing worked. And
I think it's a hardware problem. The battery is new and the charger is new.
I finally got it to actually say that it couldn't protect the battery, so
It just
But-
annoys me.
it's still. I'm very, very, this is a very nice laptop. And other than that little bit of glitch,
I remember I bought it to play Microsoft Flight Simulator.
yeah,
It was really nice.
yeah. Other than that little glitch with the Wi-Fi,
What do you plug on? So you get
I bought all the controllers, the pedals, everything. I made a wood panel to put the laptop.
one of the games I've got, Elite Dangerous, the Space Sim. And I've been watching some Twitch or whatever, and they're giving away like skins for the ship I've got, and I go, oh, heck, I'll, watch. And I clicked on this dude, and he's got this station rigged up with the pedals and the joysticks and the fighter controllers and like a pad here to control a switch thing, and then like another for the game, and then this like funky keyboard I've never seen, all these controls and everything. Does like truck driving in the morning screen or something like that. So it all, you had like the gear shift and like, good Lord, man. I didn't even know they had that crap. He's like, yeah, sometimes if you see me doing this, it's because I'm trying to do the left yaw and it's not working. I haven't seen any of that kind of stuff. I think they got rid of some of the reports off the computers.
Came across a channel, of some guy that was building a flight simulator. And he was going into making the instruments work. And he had an altimeter that worked correctly and the roll pitch yaw thing that worked correctly. Yeah, it had like 50 little at megas embedded.
Can actually reproduce almost all the instruments
Yeah,
and connect via USB.
he was using instruments out of crashed planes, stuff they couldn't put back in service, but it didn't matter in his living room. So,
I saw a video of a guy who built one in the back of his van.
he'd drive to the airport and then pretend.
I guess, I think he was flying a drone.
Ah, okay.
The Microsoft is really close to the real thing. I used to fly a real thing. And almost same level.
There used to be one of the MechWarrior games. I don't know, buddy, there was plugin for it. You could put your instrumentation and then touchpad on the iPad.
Mhm.
So like you could have your, like put an iPad here and there for your hard, and get it off your screen so you can see where the other mechs and stuff were. And then you have like your touchpads for your different weapons selectors and everything. Like you were sitting in a cockpit. Oh, it's what that was neat, but I'm like, man, I can't imagine.
It's the same checklist, everything, labs, speed, everything.
Yeah, I was playing one, I think it was a Linux version of a flight sim, and you had to walk around the plane and make sure that everything worked the way it was supposed to.
So the cover off the pedo tube. Yeah, I was playing with open flight sim for a while.
Maybe that's what I was doing. I never got really past the tutorial after I crashed the plane.
What I tried over and over was to get a sock with camel to roll to it. Couldn't.
I used to practice a lot to off the engine and try to land safely. A lot.
Excuse me.
But you're
Yeah.
a pilot.
I did it also in the real life.
Yeah.
But you don't turn off the motor, just go to idle and you imagine that you lost your machine. But it's good to, for what if I am in this place and I lose the engine and you go to the software and put yourself in these coordinates at the height you want and start rolling. Okay, well then check, and you see the real environment.
Splash down in the lake.
If you're going flying into an airport you've never been to before, you can practice.
Yeah.
You can select the weather, the wind, everything,
And go to the skyscrapers and that
time of the day.
one in Hong Kong.
I remember
I can't believe that airport.
whatever I played, it started you off with like a Cessna 152 or something. I remember actually being able to fly it. I got it up, and then when it was time to land, I was following what they were saying, and I was like, "It's not working. It's not working." Oh, I hit the ground, killed everybody, myself included.
I can't remember the airport, I think it's in Hong Kong, but there's the skyscrapers were built for the aircraft to be in a bank. They come back around or whatever, and the runways along the mountain. And there's no room for mistake or anything because of the buildings and everything.
So there's
That-
tall
that-
buildings inside of the curve and outside, and you've got to stay. Ooh,
Right.
nice.
Skyscrapers
Ray
are
says
like you come in through the
Bangor.
thing and like literally your wings going through parts where the skyscrapers are built to accommodate the wing of the
Practice
aircraft.
in Chicago, because there were a small A street that now is a park or something. There used to be an A street in front of the Millennium Park or something.
Mhm.
And I will start there and go to the buildings, talking around and playing with that.
Ray says Bangor airport is crazy small.
There's another one that's real dangerous too. It's top of a
Bangor.
mountain or something, which is like the limit of where the engines work.
There is one in
A third of
Nepal,
the size.
that ends
Oh,
against the mountain.
yeah,
Crazy.
and it's got like a 30-degree downslope or something, and that's how you get enough to get off, because there's,
Yeah, you
you need all that extra thing, because
Full
the
power.
runway is so short. You get the mountain up left to actually get off the tarmac before you hit the trees. Some crazy pilots out there. It was I don't know if it's still open. They were talking about closing that one that goes through the skyscraper, because of how many people would kill if the pilot screwed up with any kind of issue during the landing. But there is no room for a mistake.
How many people have died so far?
I don't think they've had an issue yet. So don't let too many pilots fly it though.
It's one of those airports where you gotta be extra certified to fly into.
Yeah, I think you gotta be flying like 25 years before you can even get ready for that place. They pay them silly money.
That'd be nice.
But they're crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how many times you wanna do it.
But they're
I'll
crazy.
take a chopper instead.
Oh. Yeah, it's 12 till.
Is that where you landed, Greg? That crazy airport?
I went to a high school in um Booth Bay, Maine, which is like almost 2 hours away north of Bangor, Maine. So Carol had a choice. She's like, "Oh, I can fly you into Boston, which is bigger, but it's a further drive." So I like, yeah, I'll fly straight to Bangor, Maine. That's fine. I don't care. And it's actually pretty small. Um, Boston though has a short runway, and it's like you miss something, you're gonna hit a building or you're gonna land in the water. That's how Boston is. But Bangor, there's plenty of land around it, but as far as buildings and facilities and stuff, it is definitely not even half as big as Dayton Airport. It's small. Yeah, it's crazy.
We're talking about, I guess, Nestle wants to be able to land their Learjets and at Sporties,
Okay,
and it's only a 3,600-foot runway, so it needs to technically be extended like 400 more feet for up to like a Learjet 20 or something. So they're talking about either building out over 32 and putting a bridge runway onto the top of that mountain there, or the hill,
yeah,
or moving Claremont County Library across 32 where they're building the plant here by Williamsburg. And that was kind of interesting.
okay, from an engineering perspective, the library loses. Elevated runways are difficult.
Well, it's done, but I just thought, because they're trying to build townhouses on that, they won't be able to, use that property for that, because they'll have to,
Yeah,
burrow on across the street there and cut the road off.
Huh.
And then build it over top of 32 to get the extra footage. I thought was an interesting solution. But it still wouldn't be long enough to take, it takes a couple more models of jet, but not much bigger than they can handle now. So they need 6,000 feet for like a Learjet 40 or something. So,
really?
yeah. If it's loaded.
Hmm.
I can't imagine if I guess they're planning to get pretty big out there now. So they're gonna build a wet plant now too.
Nestle?
Yeah.
What?
Nestle owns Purina,
Ah, okay.
so Purina.
Land in the Purina parking lot, it's huge.
I was gonna say. Yeah. How they build another plant there, they're gonna be a pretty big operation up there.
And they can't be bothered to land in Cincinnati or Dayton and drive.
Oh, Lumpkins, got one runway that's long enough,
Yeah,
but it'd still be a 20-minute drive, everybody. That's what I kind of expected, we're trying to get the county to move it across the street. So the real question, gentlemen, why we all came out moving it?
I know what the question is.
I have a suggestion. There's a place I never tried before called B&W Burgers and Wings. It's up here on the other side of
The other side of the road.
Yeah.
The other side of the highway.
yeah,
That place,
no, this side of the highway, that side of
it's not where I'm
Union
thinking of
Center.
then.
It looks
This place.
okay.
All right, it's about 5 till, so I think I'm going to call it a day. And shut this monster of a keyboard down or computer down. And get it packed up. And we are,
You
we're
need 10 minutes to shoot down.
10 minutes to shut down. We are,
The turbines.
we're virtual next week.
Yeah.
I will see everybody next week.
Okay.
Good.
Oh, come on. I was going to show you my project I'm working on.
Oh, well, hurry up,
Well,
Ray.
hurry up, Ray, come on,
Yeah.
sitting there quiet all this time.
Yeah, what's up with that, Ray?
Recording in progress.
I didn't know he had a project.
Ray's been muted this whole time.
Hey, I'm a hurry. Here's my project. This is my laser that I bought from somebody, and I've had it for maybe 3 months now, and I just started working on it last week, and I added 4 stepper driver amplifiers to it, and I added this head to it. I 3D printed the head, designed it myself, designed the bottom, designed the back, wired it. Oh, come on, lights. Okay. Hooked up 2 relays so I could control the air assist and to convert it to rotary. Had to add power supply. I added a temperature sensor to it, and somebody stole my electric. Okay. This is not my normal deal. I had to add a USB and a Ethernet jacks to it because it didn't have that. And oh, it's gonna crash. Can't do that. I almost had it crash. That's horrible. I designed a new rotary attachment for all of my lasers. Let's see. I did a whole bunch of stuff. So we got temperature in here because it's just so annoying to have the air running all the time. It's going home right now, and it's actually really, really cool.
Cool.
So Vicente might think this is cool because he's been looking into lasers. But I got my rotary in here. Rotary here. Yeah. Backed up in there. Okay.
You
Over
got it
here,
all
I can
working?
turn on my rotary in there, and now I can spin it.
Yeah.
All right, Z up and Z down. And got a full color graphic screen. Got my temperature stuff going on, water cooling. All my lights are working for like the relays. Even got lights on my relays. All the lights on my amplifiers. Digital readout for the amperage and back there. Actually, it's been a really interesting project for me, but this is not my normal project, my normal rebuild. So it's been fun.
Cool.
What all that run?
Well, the laser machine didn't have any of these buttons and stuff on it when I got it, and it did not work. So the guy he basically traded in his laser machine, so it cost me about $2,500 to get the non-working laser, and then all the parts probably cost me $1, $3, $4, $500, not including the rotary. So I probably have $3,000 invested in the laser machine, but it's a bench top unit. This thing will engrave 4 feet wide, 2 feet front to back, but only a couple inches deep. It has a removable inside bottom. So if I wanted to, I could lay this on the floor at a cabin or something. I could laser engrave the floor. Or I could put it up on stilts like this, and I can put a rotary underneath it here, and I can engrave baseball bats.
Cool.
So it'll do 4 feet. There's not a lot of machines out there that'll actually do 4 feet long. So
That's pretty sweet.
it, a 4.5, whatever feet long machines. But interesting. This has been a fun little project. So this is what I've been working on off my evenings for the past week.
Very
Well,
cool.
when I'm in town, to me, I would probably say a total of 30 hours to rebuild the machine. It's with various problems here and there,
Very cool.
but I think it's very clean, nice displays. Everything fits nice. So
Take one, Ray.
that's just
Yeah. I'll
what's
take,
that? You'll take.
I'll take one too. I'll just
Yeah,
out of the back. of the box.
I added the numbers and I know.
There's
I
my
have it,
next
I have
one to
it.
rebuild.
I have it.
This is much smaller, but it's going to be a neat little rebuild too. It's got a smaller interface display. I redesigned it with only a 30-degree angle, smaller, basically a smaller shape. It's going to be a lot tighter, but it doesn't have nearly as many drives. The other one had 5 stepper amplifiers. This one's only going to have 3 stepper amplifiers in it. X, Y, and rotary. This one still will have 2 relays, but this one does not have the cooling system built in. We have an external cooling system. It already has the USB and network spots in it. This one's manual focus, and it's been used, but when I got it, the lady bought a laser machine from me, and she's like, yeah, Ray, if you want to buy my old one, here, let me show you what it does. And she's like, oh crap, it's broke. And yeah, it wouldn't turn on, it wouldn't do nothing. When she's like, well, I guess that just dropped the price a lot. And oh, I bought this one for like $300 as it is without a new display. And I'm gonna probably sink about another $600 into it. And I'm hoping that this 3D printed setup that I've got going on here, that this makes it very clean looking, nice looking, and this should sell for about 3,000 when it's done. 3,000 to 4,000. So it'll be a full Ruida light burn system. But I was more excited to get the new desk.
We're over time,
I
right?
actually like the desk more than the laser.
Oh, I've got a couple of those. Yeah, those are nice.
Yeah, they're
Standing
it's
desk.
from Home Depot, and it's got a crank up system, so I can put it to the right height that I want to feel good for doing the work. I was like, that's pretty cool. I wish it were motorized. Today I saw
He's not listening. We're over time,
an
right?
8 foot by. All right,
Oh,
are we done?
yeah, I'll talk to you. We'll see you next week.
Good night.
Well, next week.
Next week.
Bye.
Take care.
Sorry.